make friends with God. The idea seems weird. He's invisible after all, and he knows you already much better than you know yourself, whereas you are just starting on a voyage of discovery and all you know about him is what he tells you. Yet down through the ages, Christians have claimed that this transforming friendship is the greatest thing that has ever happened to them. It changes lives. People who have been selfish, unthinking, run-of-the-mill human beings suddenly start to change into something quite different. It isn't a creepy change, as if they've joined a cult and have been brainwashed. It's just that they've become more themselves than they'd ever been in their lives before. Their good qualities come to the fore. They discover potential in themselves that they could never see before. They start living not for their own concerns, but for other people, and especially for the Lord, who is becoming more important to them week by week. This transforming friendship has led Christians to endure terrible persecution and loneliness, to found hospitals and clinics where medicine has never gone before, to write fantastic poetry, to create great works of art, to shelter the homeless and fight for the oppressed. All over the world, you can see new expressions of it all the time. Street pastors, debt counselling, food banks. Work with prostitutes in Bangkok. Work with drug addicts in Kowloon. At the centre of it all, a confident, happy knowledge that you're fulfilling the very purpose you were made for, living right at the centre of the dreams God had for you before the world was created. What makes this friendship real then? Before we end this session, we'll look at the very simple step that's involved in starting out. But it has to go on from there. How do you go on to appreciate God's reality? It's important to notice that there's a lot more to come after that initial step. You may have an immediate experience of feeling his power and love. You may not. The thing is, you've just been born again, as the Bible puts it, into a new life, and babies don't always register what has happened to them straight away. You've been propelled into such an unfamiliar new world. It takes time before you get your bearings and start noticing what's different. So don't expect instant nirvana when you invite God into your life. Whatever you do experience, the relationship has a lot more to offer than just the first moment. How does it grow? The simple answer is, like any other friendship, we make friends with other humans by doing things with them, spending time together, sharing experiences, going through risky or depressing times, the whole package. And similarly, your relationship with God will grow into a confident knowing if you let him be a part of your daily experience day by day. So you read the Bible, just a bit at a time, because in it he speaks to you. And you pray, knowing that he's listening. This two-way communication goes on and gets deeper the more you practice it. In fact, the New Testament speaks about praying without ceasing. Obviously, you can't do that literally. It isn't a good idea to drive your car with your eyes shut all the time. But what it means is that you can sense God's presence there with you all the time and keep up an ongoing conversation with him as you go through the day. Through the Bible, you get to know the things God wants you to do with your life and how you ought to act in your relationships with other people. You start to do things you've never done before just because he says you should, and it turns out to be good advice, and you find he's changed you in yet another way, and so the relationship keeps on growing. But he does things with you as well. You start to notice that he's answering your prayers, not always with a yes, but too often for it just to be a coincidence. After a while, you look back and you begin to see how he's slowly changing you as a person. The peace of God has started to calm you whenever you have a problem to solve. The love of God fills you as you deal with other people in a new way. The power of God helps you tackle challenges you'd have shied away from before. He really is making you over in unexpected ways. There's another important side to relationships too. When you become someone's friend, you get to know their friends as well. And when you chat with those friends of your friend, you start to discover things about him or her that you never knew before, because their experience has been just a little bit different from yours, and so you get to know your friend better through them. Once again, it's the same with God. When you've become a part of his family, other Christians can help you know God better. They can strengthen you, encourage you, sometimes infuriate and challenge you, but it's all part of making the relationship stronger, deeper, and more secure. After a while, the reality of God becomes the centre of everything in your life, and you realise you're where you've always been meant to be. Let's talk about that now.